Welcome to On Writing with Onkarabile, the show that is aiming to promote reading and writing in our communities. We seek to restore pride and dignity of Africans through the power of reading and writing. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Thabo Mtika, who is very passionate about Fourth Industrial Revolution and is here to share more on how he promotes reading and writing on that aspect. Mr. Thabo, thank you, sir, for coming to the show.
Oh, thank you, Mokoto, for inviting me to the show.
Yes. After a long time, I've been looking for you all over.
You are the one who scars more than me.
But look, I'm glad I found you today. Let's talk about what you are passionate about. But before that, let's hear who is Thabo Mtika.
Let me greet everyone who's watching us. Introduce myself. My name is Thabo Mtika, original from Sonneville. I'm an engineer by qualification and a teacher by profession. I'm into the Fourth Industrial Revolution. A reason being what? Is because we are going more digital now as compared to us having that traditional teaching, though we still have it. But more of learning and teaching will be happening online. More of our books will be e-books, and more of what we do, it will be on our smartphones and our laptops. So we are going more paperless. We are not there yet. We are 20%. But the future is that. The future is innovative. The future is very intelligent. The future is very interactive.
Okay. Actually, in your introduction, you have introduced the topic that you are going to talk about. So you have started already.
Yes,
let's just start by explaining. Someone is watching the show, and he or she has been hearing the word Fourth Industrial Revolution. What is Fourth Industrial Revolution? Because when I think of fourth, I'm thinking of, first. Is it the first, second? Do you have fifth? What is Fourth Industrial Revolution?
It's a very interesting topic because I think some people think maybe it's job opportunities.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe it's something we can touch, we can see. The Fourth Industrial Revolution, it just defines where we are in terms of technology. If we go back, we go to the First Industrial Revolution. It started with, remember back in the days when we read about history, people were farming, they were using manual labor, and then for goods to be delivered from one place to another place, they relied more on horses.
Yeah.
But people at that point had to solve the problem to say, can't we introduce something better? So they started introducing the steam engines. So now they made trains. And that helped mobilizing goods from one area to another area.
Yes.
So that was the first technology we used as humankind. So after that, they looked at what else? They were sitting there. I don't know, maybe they were sitting somewhere in an office and said, what else should we do? What happened there from the steam engines is they now started looking at, can't we use electricity? Because already Faraday has came with a concept of electromagnetism, of magnets attracting each other. So if that was possible, then I thought, then an electron can be moved. Then they started generating electricity. Few households then had electricity. And then from there, once we had electricity, that's where now we have digital gadgets. They started now making TVs. So now when they brought electricity, it was now technology number 2 or the second industrial revolution. But it was happening with industries. So households got the benefit from the industry.
Oh, this is called industrial. Okay,
yes.
Okay.
So it was solving issues in the industrials, but also it was there now giving back to communities.
The community, yes.
So we're able then now to start using electricity. Then after that, we started having computers. So with electricity, now they realize, we can do so much with electricity. They started making televisions. You and I think when we're in school, we're using that, that Panasonic.
Yes.
Cell phone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Before that, they used to have that phone where one side you're talking and one side you're dialing some stuff. So from the second industrial revolution, and now they went into now designing phones, into designing TVs. They were not smart TVs. It was just enough for that time.
Yeah.
So the introduction of semiconductors then, after electricity, then went to semiconductors for the industries. So they designed fax for the industries, but those ideas for fax and telecommunication, they then gave birth to television, they gave birth to cell phones, and so on and so forth. Then it became the third. So as we're on the semiconductors, which is the digital, now we had phones. Remember your phone when you started buying phones, you had SMS, MMS. So now that's the digital part now. So now they were working more on how to improve the digital that we saw. Remember from our TVs, you had to aerial, like sound. And when you leave it start giving you issues. They were improving the digital. But now after 2016, from 2012 going to 2016, there was a rapid change in terms of cell phones. We started stopping using email boxes. You know, we had a mailbox. We started having what? Emails. It was digital. It was now something that you cannot touch, but it was happening somewhere. So now the fourth, it is going more digital. Instead of a post, we have an email. Instead of now, we have video conferencing now. You can go in that advanced. So the fourth industrial revolution means now the industry has advanced more digital. Anything that we need to do is more digital. Example, remember you used to go to the bank, but now banking is digital. You can do it on your smartphone. So now fourth industrial revolution, it's an improvement on the third. The third gave us the digital world. Now we're going deeper into digital. We don't need paper and digital. We're only going digital. That's the fourth.
Now I see the future, as you have said in your introduction. Now I see the future. But when you explain it, I'm so interested, and I'm asking myself, do we educate ourselves more on that? Do we read a lot about that?
We read, but I don't have stats. I don't have something tangible. But I know from the academia and people who are actually intellectuals and people who are professionals, there is always something, and people who are working, there is always something that they're told to say, we're going to introduce this. Let's make an example. In schools, they're saying, we're going to introduce coding and robotics. So now it brings what? It excites the young ones, it scares the old ones. But with that being said, now people start feeling, are we going to lose jobs? So now when people have fear, that's when they go look for information so that they can say, are we safe going into the future? We are reading because we are propelled by fear. We want to know, what is this thing? All right? But not everyone has enough information. No one is able to tell us exactly to say, but what's going to happen in the future? Because people just give us, not everything. It's just small chunks. There's threats to say there can be robots that can teach learners. Okay. There is threats that now domestic workers will not be hired in large numbers because you can have a robot that does that. Okay. And then there is threats that in the bank sector, it's going to diminish. Okay. You're just going to have your machines, computers, branch machines and computers, and you can just do self-help services. So they will need few people and more of the machines. So people, if they are reading on those bases to say, are we safe going there? The second question, are we educating ourselves enough? Cannot answer for everyone, but I can answer for those who are in the technology sector. Can answer for those who are teaching maths and science and those who have been reading. Those who are reading, they are reading because those who want to know more, it's because they want to exploit the opportunities that come with the fourth industrial revolution. There are a lot of opportunities. How? Number one, you can have your own digital channel and then promote whatever you want to promote. There are social media strategies these days. I don't know what the social media strategies does, but I know is that more young people are venturing into that. Marketing is done more online, all right?
Correct.
And then there is more on buy and sell online, okay? Correct. You don't need a specific market. You just need the idea where people meet online
Yeah.
and then they start selling and buying online.
Yeah.
So those who read about it, they're just exploiting the opportunities that come.
But what is the disadvantage of not reading or educating yourself if you're not in the technology sector? Because now it is very relevant that, if I'm in technology sector, then I will have to explore more because I want opportunities and stuff like that. But is there a disadvantage for me who, if I'm not educating myself on that aspect, if I'm not in technology sector? Is there a disadvantage if I'm just a general person?
There's a new concept that Professor Chilidze Marwala says.
I know you like that, man.
He says, the more few people know, if we have few people who knows about a certain thing, then they will oppress those who don't know. They will exploit those who don't know.
Yeah.
So if you are ignorant, you won't participate where we are going.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So you'll be sidelined, not intentionally, but because of what you choose to do.
Yeah.
That's a disadvantage.
I agree with you, because I'm thinking you said something earlier that now banking is online. And I'm thinking that, if you don't educate yourself on that aspect, you'll go and queue the line. And waste time.
You'll be queuing there.
And time is money. The time that you spend, they could have done something
productive.
Exactly, yeah.
Look now. Are you aware that most of the older generation, meaning our mothers and grandmothers, have smartphones?
Yes,
Most of them,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Are you aware that most of them are on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Do you know how much they enjoy just sending a voice note? They're not typing anymore.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
and you get that grandmother's a voice note from the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
Like, Thabo,
Yeah.
who taught them? Right. So the more people exploit, the more people learn. Remember, part of learning is reading. Because what you learn, you should have followed certain steps.
Yes.
You should know the how-to part.
Yeah.
So if you are not on WhatsApp, you don't get information. Let's say you are not in a family WhatsApp group, and then we discuss something, and when you are not in the group, are you on an advantage side or disadvantage?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's.
You remind me another post that I saw on WhatsApp. It's a status that I saw, and someone posted something like this. He said, he just gave two pictures, and he said this one, it was the Christians who said TV and Facebook, it's
gonna bring evil.
it's evil, exactly. And then he posts another side. He says, follow us. This is Christians who are saying, follow us on social media. So I'm now thinking, and I'm gonna ask you to comment on this when it comes to Christianity or religion rather. What can you say? Maybe advise, for such people who have that mentality of saying, technology and God and religion and stuff like that.
I think Africans are used to trying to control people than allowing them to exploit the opportunities that are there. I was scared of Facebook before I joined Facebook. My pastor then said, join Facebook so that we can have a group for the church. So that even if people are far away, but they still know about the activities that are taking place in the church. I was scared of WhatsApp because I thought, my privacy. Okay, I was reluctant to be on WhatsApp or anything that is social media. So I'll answer the question. If you promote fear as a pastor, you are disadvantaging the people. If you show them the advantages of using technology, then you're allowing people to actually to access more information about what they believe in and connect with a broader church through technology.
Yeah.
During lockdown, rapidly everyone had to do online church.
Yes. I was coming to that. I was coming to that.
So if you would have promoted it before, right? Which means now you had a church that was constantly in communication. If you had church WhatsApp groups, So which means these people during lockdown were able to talk to each other. Remember, lockdown brought a lot of depression. And in having a community that is supportive, it will help you during that moment. So I cannot answer for someone who wants to continue instilling fear. And remember, put fear, you're able to control people. I have a problem with that. Put fear. Put a fear of God in people, then they'll start fearing God. Put the love of God into people, then they start opening up.
Mr. Thabo, let's talk about, you spoke about the reading part. Let's talk about the material.
Yes.
And I think you said you're not sure if we have enough materials. Someone said to me, we always say readers are leaders. But this person says to me, I think we got it wrong. And he said, writers are leaders. Because we writers, we are the one who feed the people to read.
Yes,
they can't read without writers,
Yes.
So where can we get more writers to write about such things that you're talking about now, so that we are aware? Because when we read, that's where we learn, as you have said. So where can we get, or what can we do to have more writers who can feed us with this information?
A very difficult question, mate. And I don't want to take it from the sky and start catching things. One, does our education system allow that? Do we have a culture for that? Remember something, it should resonate from a culture. This is our culture, then that's what we'll do. Are we making reading clear, fun, and something that one can do without being persuaded?
Yes,
all right.
yeah.
Why some families, before their children can sleep, they read them storybooks? Why? All right. I was watching a YouTube video. I forgot this lady's name. And I heard the name. This lady speaks of the single story. He's a Nigerian author. And then he speaks of the single story. Okay, he says she read the novels that speak of the British, the Americans. So to her, the characters were just people with long hair. The weather was not what every day she experiences, but it's everything that was outside from her environment. Okay, where I'm going with this, she was reading because the father was a professor and the mother was the admin for the University of Nigeria. She was reading, but now she was not given a culture that gives the voice of her own surrounding.
I think I remember, I know the lady, but I also forgot
Yes,
the name.
yes.
Yeah, she's one of the famous,
very famous,
writer.
good writer. So one is those people who are reading. Are we giving them a culture? Are we introducing them to African writers? Are we introducing to things that have been written around, let's say about Soweto? Because now you relate more. Once you read something and you feel like, I don't agree with this, you write something else that corrects that. Then it promotes reading and writing.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yeah. In school, do we only say they must write letters? They must write essays? Then what afterwards? Why can't you take them on a field trip and then say to them, tell a story through drawing, tell a story through writing something? Let's say you go to botanical gardens and then they see everything. That's when poets are being born. Those who are in pain, can you promote them to say, is there a way of sharing your pain? What can you do? Can you write a poem? Do you want to draw? So we can get writers by understanding people's feelings. We can.
I agree with you 100%, and I'll tell you why. Because when OBE was introduced,
Yes.
I think I was doing Standard 5, which is grade 7.
It should be year 2000.
Yeah,
year
I was doing
2000.
grade 7. And there was a subject called technology.
Yes.
And I hated that subject. I hated that subject. And now, as you say this, I am now thinking that if the subject was introduced in a fun way,
Yes.
in a creative way that I can like it. Because now I remember technology and I'm thinking, that was the best subject that was introduced.
Ever.
You know, but now we hated it. It was not only me, we hated it because we didn't understand what's going on there. We were never taught that this is the future. We were never taught like now you are saying, you know. And I think if we can approach, like you're saying, if we can approach that way, like that, where we teach the kids that this is the future, you know, not just implementing technology and say, this is the new subject, you know, and you are taught to pass it so that you can go to the next grade, but you have been taught that this is the future. You are not just reading this so that you can pass, but you are reading this because this is life, this is the future, you know.
Giving the child a bigger picture.
Exactly about that. There's something I agree with you 100%. And I think we need that approach. But who will do that?
If you go to Department of Education, it's a no-go area. It's a no-go area. You can't channel that area easily. The easier way is to open private schools. I mean, one point I could add is sometimes if learners have written good speeches, there is a poem by Wilson BLINKO, it is just in case. Is it just in case? Or it says, when you are not looking, it's something like that. When I painted my first drawing, you took it to the refrigerator. I think it says something like that. And immediately I wanted to paint more. So if learners are writing these essays at schools and then you laminate them and you put them on the wall, it encourages, they see what they have done. And then it's there and everyone can see it. Then it will encourage for them to do more. I think that will be another way of pushing for expression, write more. It's when we acknowledge, we put it out there, we give prizes for that because we have to try them when they are younger.
And the other thing, Mr. Mtika, I really agree with you. The other thing that, you know, this is what I've said to my previous guest, you know, because you're talking about financial literacy in schools. And this is what I said. I said, nowadays, the Department of Education has opened a platform where young authors can bring their books and they will be distributed in school libraries. And I think people like you, you know, who are informed when it comes to such a aspect of technology, I think you guys need to write. You know, we need you guys to come on board and join us as authors and write books, you know, about such information. And fortunately, your book may be selected to the Department of Education. And somewhere, somehow, it will influence 1, 2, 3 people, you know. And who knows, one day it can be adapted in schools, like generally public schools, you know. And because we need that information. Because we must not rely only, as I've said, on the books that have been described at school. Because most of the time, kids are not being taught for learning, you know, but they're being taught to pass. You know, so we need you guys to come on board.
That's an attack.
No, not really. We need you guys to come on board, you know, and write things like that.
We are agreeing in this aspect that we need authors, but also we need authors to change. Remember, there's been something say decolonize. All right. My first point of decolonize Christianity. It's too Jewish.
Yes.
It's too Jewish.
Yeah.
Number 2, you need also to decolonize the concept of science. All right. Decolonize maths. But now it won't have effect and weight if it is just a concept in the sky. When we decolonize, which means we take those books, put them in our own languages. If people can write a full book on mathematics in Afrikaans, well, then someone in Eastern Cape can actually write a full book with mathematics, starting from grade R until grade 12. We have university books that are mainly in English.
Yes,
so now when we decolonize, why are we only looking at the lower primary education? So we also need writers going all the way to a varsity level.
I agree.
Write your PhD
I agree.
in your home language. Okay, present a concept in your own language, because remember, your honors research is writing because it goes with research. And then you put your thoughts into perspective. It's a full book, that honors, including your masters. All right. So if you also encourage higher level, just go higher level. Don't just have a degree, higher level. So that research, it's also writing. It's also writing. If we teach these learners to also do research, Not remember the internet. Also, the danger of technology now is they can just get anything, but is it valid? Who approves of that information?
yeah.
Right. So also, as they do these assignments, it's part of writing. Are we publishing it?
Yeah.
Are we publishing it? It's an assignment. It's a good assignment. What are you doing? So as a teacher, what you need a blog. You have your own blog. When your learners are doing your assignments, and you put it on your blog, and you publish that.
Yeah.
In future, they can go back and then take that information, but now it's been published.
Mr. Thabo, I wish we had more time. Yes,
my brother.
But, maybe we can call part 2 of this. If it's possible, because we really need this. I like the words that you used when you started. And you said technology is the future.
It is the future.
And I mean, nobody can oppose that. And lockdown, you have mentioned it, COVID-19 has opened our eyes. And if you did not believe that technology is the future, you were forced to believe during lockdown.
Yes.
During COVID.
You were forced to like technology.
Exactly. You had no choice. If you wanted to be relevant, you had to be, in technology. Yes. So thank you so much for such information. And I really believe. What will be your last words to those who are watching the show?
My last words will be, there is a device that it's called a smart pen.
Okay.
So this device, it's been made mainly for learners who cannot read, those who have learning challenges. So what this device does is you just go through the paragraph.
Okay.
So as you go through the paragraph, it reads for you. So it prints here, it prints the word.
Okay.
So you see the word, right? But it gives you also, here is a speaker, so it reads out the word
that
for
word.
you,
Okay,
right?
okay,
So
okay.
this can be used by anyone, right? You can, even you, if you just feel like I'm tired, but you want to hear everything that is happening, you just go with this and it just read for you. It records. You can even record yourself if you want to write a book, but you have a story. You just record this, put it on a PC, and then once you click on the file, it just gives you all the words.
Is it? Oh, nice. That's very nice.
That's the two.
That's very nice. Yeah. So if you click like that, like if it clicks the words, if it shows you the words,
it's gonna show you all the words. Like you're using your iPhone. Remember, an iPhone, it can actually highlight everything that you want and you go paste it elsewhere. So it has that magic as well.
Oh, nice.
But it will then differ in terms of construction. Yeah, you need to go edit that afterwards. Yes, but this is a smart pen. This is where we are going as a future.
No, this is the future. This is the future. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to the show.
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching On Writing with Onkarabile, the show that is aiming to promote reading and writing in our communities. Do subscribe to our channel, Nolu Unlimited Multimedia. Like and share this interview. Thank you so much.